All right, I want to welcome everybody to the webinar for today with our partners from Epson. The topic for today is display size matters, finding the right fit. We had some poll questions that we were going to go through, but unfortunately we're having some system difficulties. So we'll skip over those for now. I just want to say hello and welcome everybody to our webinar. We are still waiting for a few people, so we'll get through as we go here, and give everybody a chance to join, and I appreciate your patience for that. We appreciate you guys taking the time today out of your busy schedule to join us for this interactive session, and we'll do our best to make sure we provide value throughout the session. My name is Gary Coulter, and I am your host today. Although Aaron Sanchez from Epson will be, who I will introduce shortly, is going to do most of the heavy lifting. Epson is known for being a very innovative, driven company and a leader in the projection space, and we're happy to have them as a partner and joining us as our industry expert today. We hope to make this session as interactive as possible, so please use the question and answers features to pose questions throughout the session, and we'll do our best to answer those questions before the end of the session today. And any questions that we can answer today, we'll make sure we give a blanketed response back within 24 hours. We are recording this session today, and we'll be providing a link to that recording within the next 48 hours or so. So I thought we'd spend a couple of minutes of telling you a little bit about the new Troxell-CDI. As you know or may know, our two organizations, Troxell and CDI, merged in July of 2019 to form one of the world's largest EdTech solution providers. Our mission as the new organization is to enable our customers to improve learning outcomes and assist them to build the classrooms of tomorrow today. The merged company now serves over more than about 70 million students across North America. So more than a third of all districts buy now through us. And to provide we did that to provide a full breadth of EdTech solutions with more than 500 technology partners. And as I said, we're joined today by Epson, one of our valued partners. With a wealth of experience in all areas of EdTech, we are providing leading-edge, best-in-class solutions in a wide spectrum of areas. These include areas in the AV solutions, which includes one of the things we're going to talk about today is projection solutions that meet all of your requirements for the classroom, meeting rooms, and auditoriums. We have audio solutions that meet all your requirements as well. Digital displays, pardon me, now is very trending in education, both in classroom and throughout the school, and digital communications. Interactive flat panels is one of the fastest growing sectors we see in education as well. And accessories, mounts, carts, cables, anything you really need to complete your entire AV requirement. We also provide design and installation service if they are required. No job is too big or too small. Our one-to-one learning solutions are a wide variety of Tier 1 branded devices for students and teachers, both new and refurbished. We can design and deploy services, industry best warranty coverages, trade-in programs, EdTech as solution offerings, device and classroom management tools, a huge catalog of professional development offerings, collaborative learning, STEM offerings, STEAM offerings, furniture, applications and tools to enhance engagement and improve social and emotional learning. We have a specific solution to help educators manage their assets to improve customer safety, campus safety. But above all, the great products that we sell provide a full suite and of a related service to assure our customers have a great experience and get the most out of their technology investments. And really, it's all about the students and improving the learning outcomes is what we strive for. My role in our organization here is to manage a team of product experts that supports our sales force and you, the customer. I work closely with customers like yourself to understand your needs, work with EdTech manufacturers to support best-of-class solutions that we offer for the needs in the classroom of our customers. I think it's safe to say that the benchmark is almost every solution that we offer is or will. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I think it's safe to say that the benchmark in almost every solution that we offer is, will this improve student engagement and learning outcomes? Regardless of how cool the technology is, can it actually impact those critical elements? I think we all know that it's harder than ever to find something compelling enough to grab students' attention, considering all of the technology that surrounds them today. We hope that we can demonstrate to you today is how a relatively inexpensive, easy to use technology can provide that kind of impact that we look for in all our offerings. Projectors have become a common sight for many years in schools, colleges, universities. Educators are tasked with ensuring the success of students, and using the right technology can help. Imaging technology has advanced and continues to advance year over year. And today there's a lot of focus on flat panels and projectors as the technology medium to engage students. But the real challenge isn't deciding which technology to use, but which is going to be the right solution for the learner. So regardless of the technology that you select, there should be a focus on learning, engagement, and success. Today, we're going to take a look at understanding the impact that visibility and legibility from the selected display that you ultimately go with, how does that affect the student outcomes? And there are a few key factors when selecting the right display. Distance from the student that are viewing the display, and the potential size of the display. So I'm sure you have a couple questions about the right fit and how to make sure you have a positive impact on your district or school when implementing technology. So with that, I want to introduce Aaron Sanchez from Epson. Aaron, are you on the line there?
I'm actually here. That's good.
Excellent. So I'll move the slides through. Please introduce yourself and take it away.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Aaron Sanchez. I'm a technical support engineer at Epson. I'm more on the nuts and bolts side, so hopefully I can get this message in a clear, concise manner to you. If not, please ask questions. I'm not terribly accustomed to presentations such as these, but I'll do my best. So the first thing that I want to do, the first part of this presentation, is just kind of going over who Epson is, right? Epson as a company. Maybe you've at least seen our name somewhere in a printer or something like that. And for those that aren't terribly familiar, I just kind of want to go through a few slides that describe who our company is and why Epson and basically, we're not a fly-by-night, right? So the first thing that you'll see is we have a lot of resources dedicated to technology that we put in our products, right? Number one in projection display patents. We're the #7 Japanese company overall in patents, right? Things like 3LCD that we've been licensing to other projector manufacturers since the 80s, before we even had our own projector, right? Inkjet printers, that's our precision core technology. We have everything from receipt printers all the way to manufacturing robots, right? We're a leader in either the leader or somewhere near the top in most of these technologies. Next, please. And one of the things that we're very proud of is the education space. We've been in the education space for a long time. We're very proud of it. We dedicate a lot of resources to it. This is one of the things that we like to say is that we design them for teachers. Not only for teachers, but for students. And when I mean teachers is that we, as a projector, by its very nature, it can disappear when you turn it off, right? Some teachers like their dry erase board space. They don't want something that's just sitting there that does nothing while they're not using it, right? So, that's one of the things that we do with those. So now, one of the things that there's been some hot points with projection. We've asked questions, and one of the things was maintenance, right? Budget conscious. There's a lot of budget concerns out there. With our laser technology, obviously there's no lamps to change, right? But I think the more the focus of this presentation is the low cost per square inch compared to other interactive displays, right? We'll go over that. Next, please. And just kind of finishing off, definitely we're not a fly-by-night, trusted partner with education. Over 25 years, you can count on the fact that 10 million students learn on Epson displays every day. There's BrightLinks everywhere, or there are BrightLinks everywhere. You'll see them in many classrooms. They're used and loved. So we're definitely in this industry and in it for the long haul. Next, please. So let's talk about the problem statement here, and I'll phrase it not as a problem statement, but more as a solution statement, right? Large displays are essential to a quality educational experience. Let's talk about why that is. So we commissioned a study to kind of get our brain wrapped around the average. Can you go back one, please? Oh, there you go. Yeah, to kind of get our brain wrapped around the average classroom, right? We know that a lot of folks are buying the flat panel displays. As Gary mentioned, they're very popular. One of the average displays that the average size display when this phenomenon started happening, people were buying the 70-inch display. And so this study was right around a 70-inch display, and it was when installed in a conference or a classroom, it was found that 58% of students could not see properly, right? So now going to this slide, this illustrates it perfectly, right? Here's your 100-inch display. And I know the numbers and the numbers, right? 70 and 100 is more, but when you look at them side by side, you can actually see, the disparity, right? There's always the whole more is better, et cetera, but we need to talk about exactly why. Next, please. So how do you find the right size, right? So you need a big size if you have a big classroom, if you have a lot of students sitting toward the back. How do we do this? Now we use the 468 rule. So for those that are not familiar with this rule, it's a general rule of thumb. Back before I was working for Epson, I was a designer. I worked in the design space, and I used this rule all the time. It's very simple. And I can go through it just real quick in a very, very general fashion for you. But it's something that if you're not familiar with, I'll take you through it. If you are familiar with it, it might help to just get a little bit more familiar with it, at least what this example looks like at a 100-inch display. So say you have a BrightLink in front of the class. For analytical viewing, you have your spreadsheets and your 12-point font, 10-point font, right? You have to be really looking at very, very fine, minute details, right? So at that point, you don't want to be any further than 4 times the vertical display height, right? So at that point, with a 100-inch display, the student shouldn't be any more than 16 feet from the screen. Basic viewing, same type of thing. This is maybe a little bit bigger font. You're looking more at web pages, et cetera, lesson plans. Probably the most type of viewing that the students do in a classroom. At that point, you don't want to be any further than 6 feet away, right? There's the second digit in the 468 rule. Basically not more than 25 feet from the screen with a 100-inch display. Same for passive viewing, right? You don't want to be further than eight times the vertical display height for passive viewing, which I would define as watching movies or videos or things of that sort, right? Hopefully that came across well, and that's essentially it. It all works the same. It works backwards too. If you have a student that's 20 feet away from the screen, and they're doing analytical viewing, right? And then so that means you want a 5-foot high display, right? It works the same way backwards. Anyway, okay, next. So let's illustrate that. What does this look like, right? Now we have a room full of students on this slide. Now this is a 65-inch flat panel display. This was done in a study as well. If you're doing analytical viewing, you essentially have 4 students in the front of the classroom that can see it, and that's not acceptable. For the basics that classrooms do, right? The 6x height, right? What people do in most classrooms, what students are experiencing. You have a little bit more students there that can see properly, but not a lot, right? And then in the back for even passive viewing, right? The passive viewing, you still have a whole group of students in the back row that can't see. Now, as a parent, that you don't want your kid back there. At least I wouldn't want my kid back there. Now with 100-inch, let's change that, right? This slide has the 100-inch projector display. Now you have those students in the middle, the meat of it right there, right in that 6x height, where you have basically the majority of your lesson plans and web pages and things that you might be looking at, right? But even in analytical viewing, you still have quite a bit of students able to participate. Next, please. So let's start looking into some solutions, right? First, I'm going to go through maybe general solutions, and then we'll go to a specific solution. Maybe it's not the specific solution, but we'll just talk about one just for the sake of time. So next, please. Here is another good illustration, right? It shows a 75-inch flat panel, which is more along the lines of what people buy today. What technology managers are looking for. It's been commoditized, so it's cheaper. Yet you start getting bigger, and they start getting a lot more expensive exponentially. Then you see our 100-inch display. You can see that perfect illustration. Now, the one that I really like is we have a new product, and we'll talk about it here in a bit, that does an ultra-wide 120-inch display with a 16:6 aspect ratio. Right? You can really do a lot with that at that point. A lot of side-by-side stuff, things like that. Thank you. So yeah, it helps you engage, right? I mean, you can see in this ultra-wide display, I can put up an image that I want to talk about or annotate over the top of, but I can also have alongside, I could still have my interactive whiteboard, my digital whiteboard, right? So I could put 2 lesson plans side by side, or kind of a scratch pad and a lesson or a video, et cetera, et cetera. I can mix and match those 2 types of things. So the other thing, and basically what that's all that to say is it's not compromising the learning space, right? And in instances where you have you have teachers that really like their whiteboard or their dry erase board, like math teachers still use chalkboards, things like that. But you have your teachers that still like to use their dry erase board. Unlike a flat panel solution, projector disappears when you turn it off, right? If they want to use it, it's there. They can still continue to use it the same way they've been. Once they want digital overlays, they want to work on things of that nature, you can fire up the projector and we're there for you. And one of the cool things about some of our solutions is that we try to be able to have the most connectivity possible to include the most types of technology that are now being deployed throughout a lot of school districts, right? We're compatible with Chromebook, PC, Mac, iOS, Android, that type of a thing. And as this was a presentation geared towards laser, with our laser light engines, obviously, you can install these things and never have to worry about replacing a lamp. And we do still offer some lamp projectors that are for the lower cost, budget conscious customers. We could talk about that later, but in this context, right, this basically tells you that one advantage with a laser light source is no lamp. And the other thing about Epson is we're very proud of our support model. It's something that I used to be an Epson customer. I used to buy projectors, I specify projectors for the world and buy projectors for North America. So I've experienced this firsthand as one of the reasons why I came to Epson. We have great purchasing programs like Brighter Futures for schools that give you a lot of advantages, lower prices, things like that. Pre-sales field engineers, that's me. There's There's actually there's 4 full-time pre-sales folks that help technology managers specify one of our products, and also how to integrate those products within your designs and the best ways to do that. We're very proud of that. That's something I'd definitely be willing to help if anybody has those types of questions or things of that nature. Now let's get into one specific product, right? There's a lot of different solutions. Obviously, we talked about how, you know, a larger image helps students learn. This is one particular product. This is our brand new BrightLink, right? This is the 1480 and 1485 Fi. Let's go into it just briefly. So a little bit of history on the BrightLink. It's 10 years old already, which is hard to believe because I bought one of the first ones when I wasn't working for Epson. First 3 LCD interactive display in 2010. And then we go through all the different iterations, and now, you know, and this product was introduced in 2019, now shipping in 2020. So now we'll go through, you know, the evolution and all the things that we've gained in that time. There was a little blurb up on the last slide. You don't have to go back, but it's worth saying is that basically the BrightLink, if anybody's wondering if it's you know, what kind of product we're talking about here, we have about 80% market share in interactive projector displays, right? So it's not something that just a few people like, or you know, it's very popular. Now we'll talk about the 1485 Fi right here. This is, you know, 5,000 lumen projector, right? That sort of a thing. One of the things that you get an advantage for with this product is you do have that option to install it in a 16:6 ultra wide aspect ratio to get 120-inch diagonal viewing space, right? And I'm not going to go through all these. I mean, these are speeds and feeds that you guys can read faster than I can talk, and a lot of this stuff's available. But I'll just point out a few of these features that are that I consider to be very, very important. One obviously was that I just mentioned, the ultra wide display. We do have various different ways for connecting wirelessly. We do support Miracast, and also our Wi-Fi connection methods, which I'll describe in a moment. We do have a control pad that has inputs that transmit over HDBaseT, so only one wire, simple install. This product that's coming up here, this is the 1480 version. So the difference between the 1480 and the 1485 Fi, just to make it easier for you guys, the 1485 is the full featured. It comes with everything, right? It comes with the HDBaseT transmitter. It comes, you know, the control box that has the HDBaseT transmitter on it. It comes with the full, the brand new touch unit that's been updated and simplified install. The 1480 is more of a retrofit product, right? The 1480 is more for, hey, I have an older 595 or 485 projector or a BrightLink, and I want to update to a new one. With the 1480, it allows you to keep essentially the same features, but update your projector to 5,000 lumens and that sort of a thing, right? And here's our BrightLink lineup currently. As I mentioned, we still do have lamp-based products for, you know, if someone's a little bit more budget conscious. What I tell folks about these lamp-based products is, you know, we have in eco mode, they're still very efficient, and our lamps are very cheap. At some cases as cheap as $50, right? You know, so in brighter futures pricing, stuff like that. So they're still very, very cost effective. And then obviously the new lasers that we talked about earlier, right? One of the cool things about the 1485, it incorporates a lot of what we used to call BrightLink Pro features, and what I consider to be PC-free features. So if you don't want to plug in a PC or you don't need to all the time, that sort of a thing, you can still make all your annotations, do whatever it is that you need to do, save those to either a flash drive, a network drive. You can email them directly from the interactive display itself, all those sorts of things. You can bring in content from a scanner, from a USB stick, all those types of things. And again, we mentioned earlier, we'll talk about it in a bit, but all sorts of different devices can display to this product. I'm also proud of our our software. I think, Epson isn't really known as a software company, but we offer some really cool software that's basically, it's very focused and helps you get the job done, right? And I'm proud of the fact that they're free. Even I can sell free software, right? So one of them is our interactive tools. I'll go through them just briefly. I mean, we can talk more about them if you want to. But interactive tools is basically our whiteboarding software. Basic whiteboarding has a lot of easy to use features. Eye projection. This is how we do our Wi-Fi wireless transmission method from devices, right? When eye projection is available for everything: Chromebook, iOS, Android, PC, Mac, et cetera, et cetera. And then our projector management utility. So if you do have a fleet of Epson projectors, first of all, thank you, right? And this helps you manage them all, right? You can see them all in one utility, where I can tell if, my lamp hours or my laser light engine hours, I could tell which one's on or off. I can control them. I can turn them on or off. I can change sources. I can have the utility send out an email to an AV tech when a projector is about to have a dead lamp, right? In terms of lamp hours, things like that, right? It's a really cool utility, and it's free. Next, please.
Aaron, we had a question from Kevin.
Sure.
He said he's curious to hear your thoughts on how high to hang, or how high or low should the display be for sitting students to view, and does that impact the 4-6-8 rule at all?
Yes, it does, and that's correct, right? So we can't go beyond our ceiling height, obviously, right? So if we have a ceiling height that we're up against, it's going to impact the height of the display. That's kind of why we choose the 100-inch display, and we work with that size, because it seems to accommodate most common ceiling heights, in the 8, 9, 10-foot range. And in that range, that's a good size display, and that still allows students in the back to see. But you are correct, with the lower ceiling, you have to have some sort of a solution like we offer with our 16:6. That way you can still get a large display, but now it's wide. So now I can work with it horizontally rather than vertically, right? But yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, we do have to keep an eye on that.
Great. Thanks for your question, Kevin. Aaron, back to you.
Sure. So the other thing that we do offer with our projectors, we found out that Smart Learning Suite is very popular among teachers. They know how to use it. They're familiar with it. They have lesson plans with it. So we partnered up with Smart, and we do offer 1 year of license with every BrightLink that you buy. So our projector is fully compatible with Smart Learning Suite as well as others. We want to be more software agnostic, rather than make you use one software or another. But it does come with 1 year of Smart Learning Suite.
That's great. Aaron, we have another question from Dwight. Sure. I'm going to assume Dwight has an Epson projector from the past, the way his question is written. It says, do you still have issues with calibration when using an existing whiteboard?
That's a very good question. So on one of the slides, when I emphasized, actually, I think that slide's coming up. We'll talk about a flat surface. The technology hasn't changed as far as what it is, and it's the touch technology, the finger touch, what we call it, is still the IR curtain technology. But what we did do is we did update that finger touch capability to where it now calibrates itself. So instead of having, if he's familiar with the finger touch unit from before, I had these knobs that you would turn, and in the calibration process, we've actually automated that. But to get back more to the way you phrased this question, yes, it is very important that the surface is flat for finger touch to work. The pens themselves are very resilient. Those work pretty well. The interactive pens with surfaces that aren't as flat. But I do have a process, and I do assist schools and integrators with figuring out if their existing whiteboard is flat enough. If it's bowed or warped, it's probably not going to work good for finger touch.
Okay. Dwight, thank you very much for the question. Over to you, Aaron.
Okay, so yeah, so this is exactly the slide that we were talking about, right? Any flat surface interactive, and that is very important. That word flat, right? The finger touch technology, having that eye or curtain, it needs to have a flat surface to work properly. But what we've done was we've made the calibration process a lot easier, as I mentioned, right? So we also made it easier to put the finger touch unit on the board. We made it very slim. So if you take a look at the pictures, either with this recorded webinar or on the web, you'll see that new finger touch unit is very slim. So now you can put it via magnets or screw it onto your board up top, so you don't lose very much real estate at all. And that way, the finger touch unit functions much better when it's on the same plane rather than mounting it above the board. And this is basically a slide that's saying, all the things that you can plug into this thing. I mean, we try to be as flexible as possible, right? Document cameras, we still make those. We like to be able to get those plugged in there. All your DVD players, mobile devices, Android, iOS, all those types of things. We all have ways to integrate them in your classroom. Next, please. And that's all I have. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them if we still have time.
Yeah, I'll leave the questions open for a couple more minutes. I just want to let everybody know that when we partner with Epson, we can also do walkthroughs and integrations with you. As Aaron was mentioning, we can help with the total design of your room and proper setup to get the right projection and the projector for your classroom. So I guess we're at that point where we have to kind of say, okay, well, what's next? Well, we'd be happy to arrange a one-on-one web session or even a call with Aaron or one of the experts from Epson with you and your account executive to examine your specific need for projectors in your classroom. I urge you to take advantage of the Brighter's future pricing. You can contact your Troxell-CDI rep to tell you more about that. And there are some great savings that you can capture by going through Brighter Futures. If you don't know who your rep is, and I'm hoping you do, then you can always email us at info@CDI Technologies. We can tell you who your rep is, and we can put the Epson projectors in the subject line of that. I will make sure that we find you not only your AE from Troxell-CDI, but your local Epson representative as well. If all else fails, contact me directly, gcoulter@CDI Technologies, and I will get the answers for you. I want to thank Aaron. And Aaron, just to recap, one of the things that I found really cool today that I liked was the utilities features that you guys have with the notification to the admins that, hey, you're about to need a bulb replacement. I think that is a really cool feature, and it will keep the classrooms up and running so those teachers in the classroom aren't experiencing those delays. And I really appreciate that feature.
And I'd be happy to go through that piece of software in depth for any of those that want to do it one-on-one, et cetera, et cetera. So be happy to help you guys.
That's fantastic. So thank you very much. I haven't seen any other questions come through. If you would like to stick around, I would really like you to complete a poll that we are able to, from what I understand, I'm able to launch this now. If you could stick around to answer the poll questions, and there they are. Take a moment to go ahead and vote and on each of those questions, sorry, before you leave. That would be greatly appreciated. And thank you very much for your time. Aaron, thank you so much for being a great host today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. I want to thank everybody for attending, and please look forward to our future webinar series coming up. February 11th is our next one. Thank you very much, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.